I'm trying to look at what would be a good multiplayer map. I think Jackson in general would be interesting, but from the way I know that Last of Us devs like to think about is they like to keep things. They're very, very sentimental about when it comes to it's very sentimental when it comes to like the game, the single player. So that's why they never had Ellie and Joel skins available in factions. Let's see. The courtroom was okay. I think the courtroom's all right. The bank was a really cool encounter. I think the hotel would be kind of interesting. I think school would be a fantastic multiplayer map. It would be a great homage to high school. Definitely got to add a little bit of like another layer. But I like the inside outside. I do miss the school buses, but I think it'd be a great homage to it. Capitol Hill, that one's okay. The TV station would be a fantastic counter one, I think, for a map. It has multiple layers. There's an inside and outside. It has that big thing in the middle. The sightlines would be kind of crazy. They would have to put something in the middle if they wanted to add to it. But I think that'd be kind of interesting. Subway, a little too dark, a little too corridor-y for it. Again, I'm trying to jog my memory from my only 1-through playthrough. Like the ones that really stand out should definitely be a map. Let's see. Pump station, no. Again, I think too corridor-y. Of course, this is just Ellie's run. Streets would be interesting. This is the one area where there's a dog and you have to run to that red door. It'd be very interesting. I think it would be kind of like remnants of Billstown in my mind. You have two different sides and the middle is open. Would be a very interesting map. I think they would have to add some sort of sightline breaker, but it'd be cool. It'd be and the ability to get up to the rooftops of these areas, of these buildings. I think that'd be very interesting. It would be like a Billstown thing over again. Yeah, like streets and houses. If they could find a way to blend these two together, I think that'd be cool. Motel. Oh, this is the flashback. Maybe. I mean, this already looks like a multiplayer area. Just looking at the screenshot itself, right? You have that nice fireplace, but I don't know. I feel like that area, I really didn't get into that as much. Let's see. Newspaper offices, Okay, the Seraphied ambush and patrol, it'd be different. This would be like a very different vibe compared to the factions of lore, right? Of the first factions. I think it'd be very interesting for them to explore this type of map because we never seen anything like it. I think the closest thing in my mind would probably be like, because every like multiplayer map from the first one has like a building or some sort of a like physical structure next to it. So this one would be interesting. It'll be the first one will be wide open. I think it'd be kind of cool. You can explore the bushes. You can explore like, I mean, they do have the garage will be an interesting thing to add to it. So I think this would be very interesting to have for a multiplayer map. Definitely hospital. I mean, I remember in the first factions, a lot of people were wanting a hospital map, but no doubt hospital would be a fantastic way. And it will have multiple rooms you could jump in and out of. It kind of has like, you know, in university, that little, it will have like a university vibe to it. I think will work really well, especially with that the courtyard of the hospital if that was available. Convention center, maybe. I mean, this is a little bit too small of an encounter. We didn't really go into the convention center. Flooded street, no. Mall, yes. The mall infiltration. Someone in my chat is asking what was the biggest map and was it Lakeside or Billtown? Lakeside was. If you don't remember, there was an IGN article about the maps. There was like a video series they did with Colin Moriarty and I think with David B was the designer, and they went through all the maps, and Lakeside was huge and you had the ability to get to rooftops. Because remember, in the factions, for those of you who don't know, the maps were designed to be co-op. They were co-op maps. So they were a lot bigger. That's why in the dam, and there was like certain glitches that you could glitch into the watchtowers in the dam. The mall would be a perfect type of map because it has the water feature. You get to swim. It had a lot of little areas that you could swim in and out of. I think the mall would be like a really, really cool Last of Us Part 2 to show like the difference of mechanics from Part 1's multiplayer to Part 2. Again, this is all speculation. This is all like, hey, what if Last of Us 2 Factions multiplayer was coming and they only had access to the encounters? This was okay. I think this would be an interesting if they made like a symmetrical map on the other side like this building, and then you had this you had boats available. It'd be cool for faction multiplayer to explore boats and things like that. So it'd be kind of interesting to have like a big water area in the middle with like that big brush, and you had a building on the other side. That'd be kind of cool. You know what I mean? The arcade. I think the arcade itself will be a fantastic map. I think that would be a very dope map, especially with the arcade cabinets being collapsible. That little area, but the whole arcade would be part of it. It'd be very, very. I would like that as well. All right, now we're on the Abby side. Someone asked me like, what's better, Abby side or Ellie side? I think Abby side has a lot of great encounters because she's more action based. Ellie's has more stealth, and they kind of flip back and forth between the two. But I find like Abby's encounters are a lot more enjoyable. Of course, Ellie has a lot of them as well. Hardware store will be an interesting map. I think hardware kind of reminds me of Call of Duty Warzone with their hardware store or their superstore. It'd be the same kind of vibe. You just add a little bit more of the verticality to it. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Someone in my chat, Barry Haynes, says he wanted to add train yard. I think train yard will be very reminiscent to Uncharted 2. The thing about it is it would be 3 lane. This would be your traditional 3-lane map. From what I remember, if you add like a building or a warehouse to go to, kind of break it up. The Chinatown Sniper. This one's interesting because this one would be an interesting map to have. This would be a huge map to have because this encounter has the tall structure that you're seeing, another small building. There's like 3 buildings in this, and the middle. I think this would be kind of cool. This would kind of remind me of in Uncharted 2, that one rooftop, the skyscraper ones that they had. Remember that map where you could get up to really tall? This would be kind of like that vibe, and you had that middle available. I think this would be very, very cool map to do. Tilted buildings would be interesting. I think tilted buildings would be great map. You have like 4 layers, and then kind of like there's so many like weird little cheeky angles you can get. There's like so much cover everywhere in this map, and that's what I like about the Encounters of The Last of Us Part 2. It's because it was a creative freedom to do whatever you want in terms of how you approach a certain encounter. So that's why I'm excited to play these encounters. But I think tilted buildings would be fantastic. Be a fantastic thing, especially the ability to push people off into like the abyss, you know? I think that'd be very cool. Forest escape, maybe. It'd be cool to have a night map. I think like a really, really good night map. I know people hate night maps in multiplayer, but I think this game does such a good job with fire and things like that. This will be like the Seraphite forest and the other one. Restaurant holdout. I don't remember that one. Shipping yard would be kind of cool, but be very basic. It would remind me of Wharf, so to speak. It'd be very basic. It'd be a lot of shipping containers. Maybe they have a little bit of the shipping containers or like the little buildings. It'd be very interesting to see, but it'd be a very basic map. Ferry, I think, would be too small. Hunting party. I'm trying to remember this one. It'd be just like shipping yard. I don't remember this off the top of my head. Again, all this is from my first playthrough of it. I guess we're still on Abby's side. The Seraphite Overlook. That would be an interesting map, but I don't know. Like, this would be too intimate. The Stalker Ambush. It'd be a very like intimate one. I think Ground Zero would be a cool map. That one would be kind of interesting. It would be dark. You have flashlights. Like, these two would be interesting to do. They have to be very clever about it. You know what I mean? Be very, very clever about how they would do this too as a they would have to blend the two as a multiplayer map. But I don't know about the Overlook area where she's like crossing over. Let's take a look here. This would definitely be a great map for the factions too. This would be fantastic, man. Really good map. And then they could have like an event where it catches on fire. I think this would be one of the best ones out there. It feels like a map already. You have like little areas where you could snipe in or like take shots in from the top. I like the idea of like the different levels. It'd be really, really cool. Again, Farmland. They could add like a little Farmland area as well. Brewery, I think is a fantastic map as well. This one already has so many structures that break sight lines. It has water involved element a little bit to it. The bar area over there would be really cool. Walking into it, there's like all that water when you start this encounter. I think it'd be very awesome. There's a lot of the little shimmy little holes that you can get through. I think the brewery would be a fantastic. I mean, we're talking about like 8 maps or so. I'm thinking if they were to do, I think brewery would be a fantastic one. Overpass, maybe. This would be another one of those experiment ones, I think, because it's the only thing that they had was that little taco, whatever, the fast food restaurant as that structure. So maybe. I mean, the long sight lines will be dope to explore. This again, Haven and logging camp would be dope. Like if they caught on fire. Docks, not so much. Maybe they could add a dock area. I don't think the theater should be a map. People would probably want it to be a map, but I don't think it'd be a great map. It's too I don't feel like it's not designed. Again, the theory is if they just threw 8 players into the area, I don't think the theater would be great. Santa Barbara, this would probably be the last one. Definitely the resort would be the map that I would choose to. And the stadium, you're right. Let's go back to that real quick. But the resort would be a fantastic map. You have that pool in the middle. You have the different haciendas, the different resort areas to explore, especially the one inside. I think this would be a grade A map. Has a lot of levels. The fence lines to break. The grass is great. I think this is really good. Let's go back to Seattle day 1. It's not showing here. That's why I didn't see it, because it's not an encounter. But the stadium would be so sick. That the field with all the houses, I think the stadium would be a grade A map as well. So I think, yeah, those are my ideas for the maps. I'm probably going to upload this to YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, come on in. I'm going to play these encounters right now, my favorite encounters, and see where it goes. But those are off the top of my mind. If you watch my entire playthrough, if you're watching right now on Twitch or on my YouTube VOD, if you watch the VOD, it's up both available on YouTube and Twitch. If you watch that, you would see that there was plenty of times while I was playing the single player story, and I was like, bro, this would be a great map. I'll be like, this would be a great multiplayer area. This would be great.